thinking that if we worry enough, if we think enough about the future and about the past, that somehow the present moment is going to work out. While we're feeling anxious, while we're feeling, guilt, judgment, anger towards ourselves, towards someone else, we think that somehow if we keep the chatter going, that's a whole lot of energy that's somehow going to get us to where we want to be. And it's completely the opposite. When we pull back and we stay present, presence means accepting everything as it is right now. And there's a quote that I have from Tama Keeves, who I interviewed on my Write Your True Story series, writeyourtruestory.com. And here's her quote. What if you haven't gotten off track ever? What if every situation has been your ally, your guru, your training? Maybe you haven't lived up to your plans, but maybe your plans were too small, big, or cruel. What if just thinking you're off track is the only thing that is keeping you from feeling aligned? Be generous with yourself if you want a generous life. So what if everything in your life is going exactly the way it's supposed to go and it's working out? That's what being present really feels like, even when things aren't perfect. Even when we're confused, even when we're sick, when our hearts are broken, when we're depressed, when we have anxiety, perhaps everything is truly okay. And a line that I like to tell myself is trust that you are having the right experience. What if you were to just trust that you are having the right experience? I just think that's kind of cool. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the brain. I'm looking at my notes so I can really stay on track here. So the brain is really fascinating. We have the reptilian brain at the base of our spine. We've got the limbic system, the emotional brain that kind of, covers it. And then in the front of our brain, we have the prefrontal cortex. There's a shit ton more going on in our brains, but I'm going to make it simple. So what happens is that our reptilian brain and our limbic system are old. Reptilian brain's like 100 million years old. The limbic system's about 50 million years old. And those brains are old and strong, man. They have been running the show for a long time. The prefrontal cortex, however, has only been around like 1 to 2 million years, somewhere in there. And the prefrontal cortex doesn't understand an either or. The prefrontal cortex understands a both and. It can visualize what it wants. It can move towards what it wants. It's pretty much the magician in our brains. It's the thing that allows magic to happen, the thing that allows our oh my God moments to happen, the miracles to happen. I was thinking that and it happened. That's so weird. But we have to master that situation in our brain, because what happens is the reptilian brain and the emotional brain want to keep us safe. And the reason they want to keep us safe is because before life got so easy, which it is, before our food was in grocery stores, before we had internet to connect, before we had, good homes and housing and, social programs to help each other, before we had all the things that help us stay alive in a very convenient world, at least in America. Before all that, we were watching for saber-toothed tigers. We were watching for what was going to kill us. And it was really important. Like if we went over to some berries and we saw one of our tribe members eat those berries and then die, well, we remembered that. We were like, whoa, we're not going to those berries no more. So that's a really helpful thing that our brains watch for. Our emotional brain and our reptilian brain is fight, flight, food, and fornication. That's the 4 Fs. And then the limbic system, the emotional brain, is all about tone, safety zones, affection, bonding. But those are either or brains. So either those berries are going to kill us or they're not. Say you're going down a path and you know that there's, some coyotes there or whatever is going to jump you. Well, you know that if you go that direction, you're probably going to get killed That's cool. That's where the brains are supposed to be constantly looking for safety and danger, safety and danger, safety and danger. That's the fight or flight. But the thing is that today we're not facing saber-toothed tigers. We're not facing eating poisonous berries. So our brains are still looking for where's the danger, where's the danger. And a lot of times that danger exists in the meaning that we give our lives. And let me go over that. So we're not present because the oldest part of our brains, the emotional brain that really runs the show sometimes, I call it going limbic. When I've been reactionary and worry and anxiety, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so limbic right now. But when I'm in the prefrontal cortex and I'm present, there's really nothing wrong. Unless you're in a tremendous amount of physical pain, or your life is at stake, or you're starving, so your life is at stake. Unless those extreme conditions are happening, most likely you're okay. And that's a freaking weird way to think, because our media certainly doesn't want us to feel okay. I mean, they've blown up, politics as a reality TV show. And trust me when I tell you that if you fall for all that's going on any side, you're falling for the show. You're falling for them to keep everybody at bay in terror. And what I say is, in order to get present, you have to clean your mind. You have to clean it. What are you putting in front of it? What are you poisoning your brain with in terms of information? So we're constantly waffling between what we want that is not here, what we don't want to happen, and what we don't want to let go, and what we want to stay, things that we won't let go of. So we're constantly in aversion or attachment. And this is really interesting, because if you monitor your thoughts just a little bit, if you take just a little bit of time each day to try to get present, take a deep breath and just be. Look around, put your hands on the table, put your feet on the floor, look at the colors around you. If you do that, and then you tap back in to when your brain gets out of presence, you'll notice you're either in the future or the past. And if you're in the future, you're probably in the future wishing for something, or you're in the past wishing for something, or you're in the future afraid of something, or you're in the past worried or guilty about something. And this constant aversion and attachment that happens to us wears us down, man. It wears us down. And here's what's fascinating. If you practice presence in your writing, that means you're shutting off the editor. That means you're just writing. You're not editing. You're not caring about judgment. Even if you write crap, you're just writing. And being that present in your writing will actually make you a better writer. You can go back and edit later. So when you practice presence in your writing, you're also practicing presence in your life. And I just think that's so cool. I love this. So one of the main parts that I really want to talk about is this. Think about the editor, okay? Think about the editor. What is the editor doing in our minds? The editor in our minds as a writer, and even if you're not a writer, bear with me here. The editor in our minds is judging. It's comparing constantly. The critic and the editor, comparing and critiquing. That comes later. And honestly, you don't need the critic, but you do need an editor sometimes. So what's this idea of comparison? So I just want to bring this all back. Why am I telling you this? So when you're not present, I'm posturing that you're comparing your life at that moment to something else. You're comparing that life to your future life that you wish you had. You're comparing where you are to your past. You're comparing yourself to your shoulds, to your shouldn'ts. You're comparing yourself to the media, to what people say you should be and where you should be. And comparison, and this is a great quote again from Tama Keeves, comparison is a blindfold, not a lens. Okay? So when you're comparing, you're actually shutting down so much of life that could be in front of you. There's so much that we can't see, we don't have access to when we're not in the present moment. So when we're not in the present moment, we're usually stressed out. When you're stressed out, your ability to see all the options you have, all the opportunities you have. When you're not in the present moment and you're worrying, you're stressed, you're comparing, you're in your shoulds, your vision, you're literally limiting your vision and you're limiting your scope of opportunity because you're constantly in this aversion, attachment, past, present, should, shouldn't, worry, anxiety. But when you get present, the irony is now you expand. Now you rest. Now everything is okay. And when everything is okay, life is awesome. Hey, let's see. Thank you so much for sharing. You're so welcome. I think that's awesome. Let's talk about, feel free to comment about this and about your ideas of being present in the comment section. And I'll come back to this later to make sure I maintain this conversation going. So here's a couple of things that, let's see, I was pulling out to do. We're going to release judgment today. If you could just do one thing today to gain that presence, I want you to release the judgment of yourself so you can not only open up to you, but you can open up to others. Your self-judgment is what's getting in the way of so much. It's getting in the way of making more money. It's getting in the way of having more love. It's getting in the way of better relationships. It's getting in the way of your health. And that starts with you. These are the comparisons. These are the judgments. And it says it's not what we do or what we don't do. It's what we think. I pulled that out of one of the many books that I have on presence. It's not what we do or what we don't do. It's what we think. So remember that presence starts in the mind. And it starts by just allowing yourself to be where you are right now at this exact moment, and that everything from here is okay. Because it is. Because that's where you are. You aren't any other place than where you are right now. I can guarantee you that. And your life isn't any other thing than it is right now. So what we really want to embrace is that no one has a better life than you have right now for you right now. And anything can change on a dime. Life can always get better. But first, it's the internal world that we want to improve. So again, remember that everything is the meaning you give it. That's what I want you to understand. Everything is the meaning you give it. And to be present, we have to let go of all meanings. And we just have to be where we are and enjoy it. So here are some of the books that I've been using to maintain a steady sense of presence, especially when I go off chart. And I do want to say, I forgot my personal story that I do want to tell you. Recently, I got sucked back into my shoulds. Oh, I should be better at this. I should clean up my YouTube channel. I should exercise even more. I should sleep better. I shouldn't stay up like last night. I stayed up till like 2 a.m. because I was on a roll. I was writing. I was working. I really liked it. Usually I go to bed about like 10, but I shouldn't. I'll be 50 next year. Oh my God, almost 50. Wow. I should have a mansion. I should have 2 houses. I should have 2 luxury cars. Why? Like, why? I just think it's so funny how my mind will start to, I should have traveled the world. Really? I did a lot of traveling. I did a lot of amazing things. Where's all this coming from? I'm not looking at all the amazing things that has happened in my life. I immediately go into where I should be. And man, it took me down. It took me down 2 years ago in a big, big, big way. I suffered from serious, like, thinking suicidal thoughts kind of depression purely because I was shoulding on myself, as they say. I just could not get out of this place where the world was supposed to be different. Trump was definitely not supposed to be president. I really had a hard time with that one. And I'm actually not having a hard time with that anymore. And it's not because I at all support him. It's because I'm being present in my life and I'm doing the things that I know move the needle forward to make the world a better place through the little bits that I can do. So I have been through it, man. I have lost everything, and I mean everything. There are so many things. I didn't get married and have the kids that I thought I was going to have, the perfect home that I thought I was going to have. But the funny part is I do have a perfect home, and I have children in my life, and I have beautiful people in my life. And so what would life be like if I really accepted where I am right now as the perfect place to be? And what would it be like if you could do that too? Just for a day, just for an hour. And when you feel that course of opening, when you remove all the blocks that you have to love and to peace and to joy, because you're just blocking it, right? When you remove those blocks and you're just here right now, there is magic. And I know that if you do that every day for just a little bit, you will work that presence muscle and you will start to feel it, and you will be amazed at how much better your health gets, your relationships get, your writing gets, and whatever career shifts or transitions or whatever business you want to run, how better that gets. So join me today on being present. Before we go into our writing prompt, I want to give you the books that I'm working with, and I will again put these in the comments. Thriving Through Uncertainty by Tama Keeves. Amazing. She's fantastic. She's on my summit, the WriteYourTrueStory.com summit. So check that out. Jonathan Fields, Uncertainty. Again, presence is all about accepting that we don't know what the next minute is. And by being present and accepting this strange life just as it is right now, surprisingly, things work out better and better. Of course, there's the classic, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I love this book. So when I was reading this book, this is kind of trippy. I was walking through one of the big parks here, Laurelhurst Park, on a beautiful sunny day, and I had it in my arm, just kind of walking and just by myself walking. This is about 7 years ago. And as I'm walking through Laurelhurst Park, which for those of you that know Portland, it's huge. I mean, it's a pretty big park. It's not as big as Central Park or anything like that, but it's a big park. It's not some tiny little, park where, I don't know, it's not some tiny little like schoolyard park. It's a big park, big trees, lots of sections. And I'm just sauntering, and this guy is walking towards me. And as he's walking towards me, we're just sort of enjoying our little saunter. I look at him, he looks at me, and he's holding the same book, The Power of Now, in his arm the same way. And we stopped, looked at each other. I said, "What page are you on?" And we were almost at the same page. I was on like 85, he was on like 100. And we just smiled, didn't say anything else, nodded, and kept walking. That was a cool moment of synchronicity. So you'd be so surprised when you get present how many cool things start showing up in your life because you're making space for it to show up. And then if you have an anxiety issue, I'm going to pimp this book out again because it really has saved my life. It's called Dare, A New Way to End Anxiety and Stop Panic Attacks. And this book really teaches you some great exercises on just staying present. Okay. Serenia, I love this name. He says, "I can relate with everything you're saying. Being in the present moment is what keeps me focused, especially after losing my son. Right here now is where living is." Oh, I'm so sorry about your son. I really do wish that you experience peace and healing and get through that. I can't imagine what that feels like. That must be very, very disheartening and sad. Maybe this writing exercise will help with some of that. Okay, so we're going to try the prompt. We're going to do the prompt for today. And so the prompt for today is for 10 minutes. So we're going to go over just a little bit. Actually, I'm going to change this. We're going to make it 5. We're going to do something so quick so that I'm going to show you that 5 minutes is all it takes. 5 minutes of writing. That's it. So for you writers out there, I'm challenging you to 5 minutes of writing. Wherever you are, pull over. If you're at work, see if you can take a break. Wherever you are, 5 minutes of writing. And I want you to write a short poem or paragraph about your life right now if everything were to be okay just as it is. So if right now was okay, if right now life was putting you right where you needed to be for whatever reasons and you can't see, even if you're in pain, you can't see why, you can't understand it yet, what's going okay right now? If everything were to be okay, what's that 5 minutes of writing that you can write about your life right now on how Your life is on track. Pretend that your life is truly on track. All right, here we go. 5 minutes. Where's my timer? I lost my timer. Here we go. 5 minutes. Okay. One minute left. All right. Here we go. Let me see. How do I get out of here now? All right, people. So that was fun. That was 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I'll say it again. 5 minutes. So I'm going to read you what I wrote, today's prompt for 5 minutes. Just write without editing, so I haven't even read it again. The prompt is to write a short poem or paragraph about your life right now, as if everything were to be okay just as it is. And this is what I wrote. And again, this is as simple as it gets, and it feels so good. Today, everything is okay. I can feel breath in my lungs. Today, everything is okay. He loves me. Today, everything is okay. She loves me too. Today, everything is okay. I will walk in the sun. Today, everything is okay. The air conditioning is fixed in my car. Today, everything is okay. My dog is wagging her tail. Today, everything is okay. The memory of my father makes me smile. Today, everything is okay. I have clean water to drink. Today, everything is okay. The birds are singing in the trees. Today, everything is okay. I'm opening my heart. Today, everything is okay. I'm learning. So that's it. We're all learning. Isn't that true? We're all learning all the time. All right, everyone. Until next week, it has been a true pleasure to be here with you today and to share in that 5-minute exercise of writing. And I guess I'll end with another breath. How about that? How about wherever you are? We'll chime the bell and we'll have a present day, and we're gonna remember this quote, okay? What if you haven't gotten off track ever? What if every situation has been your ally, your guru, your training? Maybe you haven't lived up to your plans, but maybe your plans were too small, big, or cruel. What if just thinking you're off track is the only thing that is keeping you from feeling aligned? Be generous with yourself if you want a generous life. Deep breath in. All right, everyone. Bye. Have a fabulous day. I'll see you next Thursday.